All right, Harmless Dave here talking about Elon Musk today on the Real Media Observer as Elon Musk getting sued because, he's trying to take over Twitter. That's what it's all about. So Elon Musk being sued by former Twitter shareholders. See, just when you think something good is going to happen, they come along and they've wargamed all this stuff out. And now they're doing a lawsuit because he didn't disclose his stake in the company in a timely manner. Here's what they're saying here. The class action lawsuit was filed in Manhattan federal court by plaintiff and stockholder Mark Bain Rosella, who is suing on behalf of all Twitter shareholders who held, okay, that's past tense, who held stock in the company between March 24th and April 1st. Now, this guy, Rosella, has standing, right? But how do these other people have standing in a class action lawsuit when they no longer hold stock in the company? Or at least that's what's implied here. I think that's kind of interesting. So Elon Musk, as we all know, acquired a 9.2% passive stake in the company earlier this month, making him the social media giant's biggest individual shareholder. And that scared the crap out of all of the elites on Twitter, all of the blue check losers who were so happy when people got banned, people they didn't like get banned. And now people that are maybe closer to their point of view in some cases, some of them are being censored or banned. I mean, eventually they'll come after everybody if you don't toe this unicorn line, this rainbows, lollipops, and unicorns. And that's what we talk about on Twitter. It's kind of like on YouTube when you do these videos about, fluffy bunnies or cats that are falling off of tables. And that's really where they want your entertainment to be. That's what they really love and embrace. And if you start talking smack about the CIA or something, well, you're probably going to get banned at some point. Anyway, the lawsuit states that Musk began acquiring shares of the social media platform back in January. And by March 14th, he had acquired more than a 5% ownership in Twitter. At that point, they're saying that he should have disclosed that ownership within 10 days of passing the 5% ownership threshold, according to the wonderful Securities and Exchange Commission. Musk did not file a Schedule 13 with the SEC within the required time and instead continued to amass Twitter shares, eventually acquiring a 9.1% stake in the company before finally filing a Schedule 13 on April the 4th. Finally, he got around to doing the paperwork, and everybody, again, should be really upset with Elon Musk because he didn't have his paperwork filled out properly. Maybe if they'd make it a little easier, like all you need was a QR code instead of a bunch of paperwork. See, because, like when you walk into a restaurant, you had to show your QR code in order to get into the restaurant. See, people, this whole thing to me just reeks of, we don't like this guy because he's called us out. And there are a bunch of people, both on the left and the right. And by the way, there is a lot of unity starting to take shape out there. And when I first started doing this channel, whatever version of the channel it was, I used to say it would be great if there was a unifying principle that could get people on the left and the right together. Well, we're there. There are a lot of people. If anybody saw the End the Mandates rally in California, by the way, my friend Craig Pasta Jardula was there doing some emceeing and just talking about stuff. And he was fantastic. And I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, I didn't know I was, friends with media royalty. And he was really humble about it. But I don't agree with everything that Craig would say, right? I would probably disagree with some stuff, but I'm in so much agreement these days that there's there's no room to talk about these other issues that we don't agree with, which I think if we could get back to that place, we could actually come up with solutions for those problems. People have on the left, people on the right. There are some good progressive people out there who believe in things that I am skeptical about because of the funding or because of the mechanism of administration. And there are people on the right that still kind of hang on to the war hawk attitude and just knee-jerk reaction when you tell them about Vladimir Putin, and they say, well, he's KGB. And I go, yeah, but do you know the full story of what happened in Ukraine over the last 8 years? You're starting to see that those conversations are happening on both sides of the political spectrum, because instinctively human beings know what's most important, or at least some of them do. Some of them are still like going for hypoxia every day, which is madness. I don't get it, but that's what I'm still seeing out there. And I'm in a state, by the way, that's as free as any state, if not freer. I mean, my governor, yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I hope he wins re-election. Don't run for president. Just block what's happening and stay in Florida and protect the residents here. That's what I would say to him. So anyway, Elon Musk, when he finally filed the Schedule 13, thereby revealing his ownership stake in Twitter, the company's shares rose from a closing price of $39.31 on April 1st to a price of $49.97 on April 4th, an increase of approximately 27%. Now, some of these people who might have gotten out because of Elon Musk, right, lost a ton of money. And that's what this is about. If they had stayed in, and maybe Musk did this on purpose. He knew he didn't want people who didn't support him, who don't support him, to earn any money from this. He said, hey, why should they get the money? I'm not going to tell anybody this. But, Securities and Exchange Commission, whatever it's called, SEC, this is where they'll, and they're definitely not on his side. They'll definitely try to enforce this rule, and they'll definitely try to make this lawsuit go forward. I don't know why former shareholders would have standing, but this other guy does, because he's currently a shareholder. The lawsuit, by the way, further states that by failing to disclose his ownership stake within the specific time period, the businessman was able to acquire shares of Twitter less expensively. So, in other words, because he didn't disclose, right, he was able to buy more shares, even though he increased the value of the company by like 25% or whatever. That doesn't matter, because he just broke this rule, and this rule created problems for all the people that hated Elon Musk and wanted to get out and didn't have the, intestinal fortitude to stick around for a little while to see how it was going to all shake out. Instead, these people will, again, bite their own nose off, right, to spite their face, because, hey, I'm not going to support that crazy guy who entertains medical misinformation. I'm not going to support that guy who believes in hate speech. By the way, hate speech, even as defined by those who think hate speech is a thing, hate speech is actually free speech. Sorry. I mean, look, do you know how much hate speech goes on when it comes to Twitter every single day? The kind of vitriol. Hate speech is when someone cuts you up or your family, or says makes personal attacks, insults your appearance, all this crap. And we're like, it's hate speech because I believe, there are women. I believe that there are women, and I can define what a woman is. So, and this is how crazy things have gone when it comes to the culture, but when it also comes to just, interacting with people who you think, hey, they're not this stupid, are they? And then you realize, yeah, they are. They're that stupid. So anyway, this guy, Mark Bain Rosella, he sold shares of Twitter at artificially deflated prices during that time period. So he's upset because if Elon had disclosed earlier, and why was he selling? the shares of Twitter. Why did he do that? Anyway, he's been damaged by the revelation of Musk's material misrepresentations and material omissions, according to the lawsuit. The members of the class action suit are so numerous that joinder of all members is impractical, said Rosella in the lawsuit, adding that he believes that there are hundreds of thousands of people who are involved in the lawsuit, and it will provide substantial benefits to the parties and the court. Plaintiffs in the lawsuit are seeking unspecified compensatory and punitive damages, but note that Musk has saved approximately $143 million on his Twitter purchases by filing his form after the SEC deadline and purchasing additional shares at deflated prices. The lawsuit comes after Musk declined a seat on Twitter's board in a surprise move announced by Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal. I don't know how to say his name, but he's the CEO. He's the guy who I think took over after Jack Dorsey fled the coup. So I don't know. I'm thinking that Elon probably has some good attorneys here. But you violate the SEC. Here's the other problem, is that because this company is woke, they are willing to go to the mat to do whatever they can to basically hurt their own company in order to keep Elon Musk at bay and maybe even out of Twitter. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Honestly, I think Elon is kind of toying with everybody here. It's kind of like his rocket. It just toys with everybody else's rocket, launches and then comes back down to Earth and lands in the spot where it took off. Yeah, this is the guy you're taking on, and I just don't think you're going to beat Elon Musk on this. And I'm hoping that Elon does the hostile takeover of Twitter, because that would be a game changer when it comes to speech. And it's pretty sad that we have to hope for that we can't just use the First Amendment. Nope. It only applies, here and there. I think, what was it? Biden said something like, no amendment to the Constitution is absolute. Oh, man. That kind of talk really should get you impeached. To say, because you're supposed to take an oath, right, to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. I'm going to do it. But this whole thing is, it's not really relevant. It's nothing's absolute in this document, but I'll take an oath to it because I know I won't have to fulfill that oath. So yeah, Elon Musk in the public square, in the town square, basically, where real dialogue is supposed to happen, having him there to say, okay, on your mark, get set, go, and no intervention and no kind of regulation of it. Just people speaking freely and people posting articles from all over the place. And then you're free to get those articles and find out for yourself what's going on. That would be the old Wild West of the internet, back to where it was before. I can only just hope that happens. And again, do I trust Elon Musk? I don't know. I don't know if I trust him, even after all of what I just said. But I mean, how much worse can it get, right? So yeah, bring it on and we'll see what happens. All right, folks, again, thanks for watching. Please support the channel and I will see you soon.